All right, so the last week that we were going to do the cooking club, so the meal I had planned for the last week of our cooking club, had we still been at school, would have been this one, which is, it's not specific. It's just going to be a show-offy kind of, still easy to make, but show-offy kind of dinner. We're going to do salmon and pastry. It's pretty easy. Follow along. You'll be comfortable doing it, even though at the end it looks professional and fancy. And it's actually quite good. It's quite easy to put together. But you do need a few specific ingredients. Most important which is the puff pastry itself. Remember I talked about our first week, we said we did our barbecue chicken roll-up thingies. I said puff pastry is super versatile and that we bring it back. Yeah, this would have been the last week where everything comes together and we make a fancy kind of meal. So anyway, salmon and pastry. You need your puff pastry. You need 2 pieces of salmon, center cut, no skin. We're going to put a few other things in there which are optional or you could play with, but this is going to be my recipe and you can follow it if you want or do your own. Anyway, let's do it. So first off, I want to prepare the mixture I'm going to put in between my 2 salmon pieces. I said I want 2 salmon pieces because in between I'm going to put a little mixture layer. And it's going to actually have cheese in it. So I know they say, don't put cheese with salmon. And it's, oh no, how could you do that? No, it's not like cheddar cheese. I'm putting ricotta cheese. And I'm going to put in some capers. Some herbs. Oh, we'll put cilantro, mustard seeds, whatever. Play with it, whatever you want. I'm going to do this one. So let's get started. First off, bowl. Then ricotta. Right here. Okay. Oh, looks like we're out of cilantro. Oh well. Capers. So capers, ricotta. So you got to think it's in between 2 pieces of salmon, so it's going to be kind of squeezed. So you don't actually need that much, right? You don't actually need a huge amount. Just put in what you think. I'm going to use, this much if you can see. Pretty much lays on 1 spoon. Yeah, that's about right. Maybe a little more. Although it's pretty small, it's not going to be that bad. Put that in there. I'm going to also put capers. I love capers. I don't have a spoon small enough for this, so we're going to use the back of this one. Scoop it out. There you go. It's capers, capers, capers. That's good. Maybe a little more. Put a whole bunch, however much you want. So not always an exact amount is needed for these recipes. What you do need is a feel for how much you want. I'm also going to put in fish eggs. Fish eggs, the same kind you get from like a little, those little orange ones that you get at the sushi restaurants or anything. Like that. It's about that. Super healthy. Put that in there. That's good. Oh, let's put in some mustard seeds. If you don't have it, whatever. I'm just making it up. You don't have to put these exact things. Just whatever you feel is good. Mustard seeds with some added iron. And then, as always, salt. Pepper. I'm also going to put in a little bit of lime juice. You don't have to put lime, you can put lemon, but lime I feel might be good here. Put the little side on an angle like this. So me roll it first. Rolling it lets the juices out of it, and cutting it on an angle like this. You can see, just take out the side like that. Makes it easy to squeeze. So this is just like a nice little way to get a lot of juice out the side. And you can wrap this up, keep it for later. Although I'm leaving it exposed to the air, which if you're not supposed to, whatever, it's fine. Okay, mix that in. And because this is a cheese mixture, and it's going to go in, I do want it to puff up a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in 1 egg. But actually, I'm not going to add in a full egg. Put this here. You'll see what I mean. Take an egg. Always crack the egg on a flat surface, not on the side of a bowl or a plate. Alright. Random fork, mix it up. Okay, so I'm beating this egg a bit just to make it homogeneous, like uniform, as much as I can. I don't want to go crazy here. 20 seconds, whatever. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is, not only because this mixture is not a lot, it's just a little bit of cheese or whatever, but because I also want to use some of this on the pastry afterwards. So I'm actually only going to pour in half of it. So be careful when you do this because the egg sometimes lumps together, and if you do it too quickly, the whole thing will fall apart. So I put in about half, and I've kept another half here. Okay, I'm going to keep that for later. Let's see. Mix this all in, and we're done. Our cheese mixture is done. So I would have wanted to put cilantro in there, but I thought we had some. We don't. That's okay. It's still going to be good. And there you go. You got something that kind of looks like it belongs with salmon. You got some ricotta, capers, fish eggs, mustard seeds, all that good stuff. But again, you could do whatever you want. Be creative with your mixture. You could put cream cheese instead of ricotta, but something like, you know, that you would use to make a dip. I don't know, sour cream might be too loose, but something thick like cream cheese or ricotta cheese is perfect. Now we move on to the salmon. Okay, salmon. I had this previously cut from another thing, which I kept frozen. So I'm gonna have to pat this dry. Otherwise, it should be okay. You wouldn't have to. I guess it's like a salmon Wellington, I guess you want to call it. You know, the beef Wellington Gordon Ramsay is famous for. Alright, so we got that on. Puff pastry. Versatile puff pastry. Gonna take it, open it up. But before laying it on, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on parchment paper now, so I won't have to do it later. Now a lot of these puff pastries, they come in boxes and they're already rolled up and they're already with parchment. For some reason there seems to be a shortage in grocery stores of that kind. I don't know what happened. Miss Tula would tell you, we discussed it a few months ago actually, where they used to be everywhere, but now you can't find it. So it's important to deal with your puff pastry while it's still cold. So you saw me take it out of the fridge, otherwise it becomes a mess. So I'm unwrapping it now. This one actually is pretty thick. It's not the brand I'm used to. I've never used this brand before. We'll see how it goes. If it's too thick, which I think this one is, you could roll it out, but I'm a little too lazy for that now, so I'm not going to do it. But rolling it, like with a rolling pin, will make it a little thinner, and it will be a little easier to work with afterwards. Okay, so I'm looking at my piece. It's about this big. I don't know if you can see that. It's about this big, and I want about, like, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches on each side. So in fact, I am going to take this and cut this along this line because I don't need that. Not using it on a cutting board, so I don't want to press too hard into the counter. There you go. There. And so yeah, this is extra. I'm actually going to save this for later. Now, what you want to do is put your salmon right in the middle, and the other one's going to lay directly on top, okay? So you're going to put one salmon piece, if you can see this, yeah, one salmon piece, put the mixture on, put your other salmon piece on, fold it over, and you're good to go. So it's as simple as that. It's just a question of assembly. Now, you know, salmon pieces aren't perfectly, you know, flat. They have a little hump on one of them, or a hill. So pick the one that has less of a hill so that it serves as your base, so it's, you know, more flat. I like to flip mine around the side that has more grooves on it. And that's it. Now I just spoon my mixture on, flatten it out, and I'm good to go. Oh, see, even that amount was too much. I have like, even after I scoop it all in, I have like 1/3 of it left. So even that was too much. Now, I forgot to salt and pepper that piece of salmon. It's okay, I'll do it on this guy. Should do it on both sides, but that's exaggerated. You don't have to. So I'm going to put the fatter part on the skinnier part of the bottom guy, and there you go. You got a nice little salmon cake kind of layer. Some pepper. Salt. Ooh. And there you go. It's coming along. Next, take your brush. That half egg I was talking about earlier comes in handy now. Dip in a bit. And here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go around the salmon, so just around a little bit, just so it has some binding power. Around, 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 like that. Or even half an egg is plenty. Okay. And then, just so that's out of the way, let's go there. And then, okay, so here's the thing. You're gonna fold the long edges first, and then the short edges. That's it, super easy. So long edge, you can use a parchment if you want. There you go, and roll it out. Still sticky. This is not the puff pastry I'm used to. Okay, there you go. Still sticky, whatever. And then this one's not sticky. Stretch it a bit, okay? Puff pastry is very stretchy. Make sure you overlap. You don't want a gap in between your two layers. And if you can see that, it's perfectly sealed here. There's no salmon. I can't see any more salmon here. Now tuck in the edges. Okay. This is sticky. There you go. And you got yourself a little salmon patty, a little pillow, a little salmon pillow of pastry. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is put it on a tray, put it in the oven for, I don't know, 30, 35 minutes, and you're good to go. However, before we do that, we're gonna make it a little fancy looking with the egg and some cuts and some salt. So here we go. I'm gonna use the same parchment paper that I used originally, but I'm gonna flip it on itself. So let's put this on and flip this pastry on top of it. You don't have to be super gentle with it. It's nicely encased in there, but there you go. See? Right there in the middle. Looking good. Put a little egg all over the pastry. Okay, this is what gives it that goldeny, fancy look. So egg all over. Make sure you get it on the sides. Remember, you have to beat the egg first, so it becomes like a uniform kind of... It's okay if you get on the parchment paper. Just make sure all your sides are covered. And if you miss a spot, you will see it after you're done baking it. Like, it will show. I mean, it's not a big deal. It just looks nice. And look, even with that, I have like a teaspoon of egg in here still left over. So you really have enough. Okay, now, we've egged it. We're going to score it. Score it means like make cuts in it. Take my exact same knife. And the scoring is you can do whatever you want, but I'm going to make it a little fancy. I'm going to score it like I did the bread. I'm going to score it this way on an angle, but I'm also going to cross it this way. So it's going to make like little diamonds. So here we go, like this. You don't have to go deep. You don't want to cut through the pastry. In fact, that's a good way of saying it. You maybe you want to score it halfway to the thickness of the pastry. Okay? I'm going to score it this way too. My angle's not that good. It's a good thing I don't teach math. There you go. There. Like so. So you can see the scoring. It's like, I don't know, diamond pattern. But you can do whatever you want. Last thing, just a bit of salt. You could crush the salt on it, but I'm telling you, if you have access to rock salt or sea salt, like these thick crystals, you might want to do that. So I'm just going to pour some out. I know a salt crusher is kind of useless. Or salt grinder is kind of useless. Should be pepper grinder, whatever. So you just, from a height, drop them on so it's not too much in one spot. I'm telling you, these big pieces of salt are fantastic. They make it look super good too. And they stick because of the egg. How nice. Yeah, I kind of poured in the right amount. Whatever. Done. Alright? This goes into the oven. 30 minutes, 35 minutes, until the inside salmon cooks perfectly, the outside is baked golden good, and you'll see, it looks pretty impressive. Alright, in we go. Alright, I also thought I'd show you, remember the extra little filling that was left over, the 1/3 of the filling, plus I cut out that puff pastry strip, which is like about 1/3 of it also, and there was a little bit of egg left. That's what I made, just 2 extra little pies. That's it, see? Don't waste anything. We're just going to slide that in with the rest of our salmon. There you go. It's already looking good. And that's it. Let's see what happens. Alright, so it's ready now. It took about, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes more than what I thought it would. But again, don't go based on time, go based on what it looks like. The puff pastry was a little thick, but just to show you, hot plates. This is what it looks like when it comes out. Okay? Pretty good, huh? Looks pretty impressive. Again, it's not much to it. It just looks very fancy. If we bring this to the table, it looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do, all that's left to do is to transfer it onto a fancy presentation board. And I happen to have one such fancy presentation board right here. See if I can do this without making a mess. Like that, slide it on. Take this away. And we're actually just going to use our oven mitt. Slide it on directly onto the board. And look at that. Done. Pretty fancy looking. So just bring this up to the table and you got yourself a very impressive but pretty easy dinner. I'm not going to cut it right away, but I'll show you later what it looks like. One thing I was going to say that I forgot, what you could put inside, and I should have done this time, is you could put walnuts in the middle if you want a little more crunch to it, because all this is going to be very soft. So walnuts is a good thing to do. Dill is a good spice, and just again make the inside what you want. So this one we did ricotta, mustard seeds, capers, and lime, and was there anything else? Oh yeah, little fish eggs. But again, it's your choice. So anyway, try it out. Oh, and by the way, this is what those 2 extra pies look like. So the extra little puff pastry. Look at this. Look at that. They look pretty good. So that's it. No waste. And we got those 2 bonus pies. No fish in them though, just the filling. Anyway, so that's it. I will show you what it looks like once it cools down and we can cut it open. It's almost dinner time. Alright, so it's had a chance to rest for like 5-10 minutes. Let's cut it open and see what it looks like. Oh, exciting. So you bring this out like this. Oh, cut all the way down, please. Look at that. See? Pretty good. I don't know if you can see that. That's that. So you got your 2 layers of salmon, crushing that layer of cheese in between. Pretty good. Just gonna cut a middle piece here, about 1 inch thickness, maybe a little less. And there you go. Look at that. You can see it. So what you do is just take 1 slice like this, put it down like that, and you got yourself a very fancy looking dinner. All pretty easy. So anyway, if you want to make an impressive dish that's pretty easy to make, and it's actually quite delicious. If you can see the layer in between of cheese between the 2 salmon pieces. There's 1 salmon piece, there's 2 salmon pieces. All this in between is filling. So super good. You can do whatever you want with it. It's very versatile, but again, what you do is 2 pieces of center cut salmon, put your filling in between, wrap it in puff pastry, bake it for like 35-40 minutes until it's golden, and that's it. Super impressive, fancy meal. So give it a try. Until next time, bye.